26 February 2023, Rio de Janeiro, 7 o'clock p.m. Brazil. We were really hot today and I can't be, on my swim suite all the time, especially talking with the International Criminal Court, independent oversight mechanism. Make things for sure real easy to your decision. No instability, no conflict if the argument is presented by the limits as cognition in a previous judicial court or judicial system, or even a system of justice which is something larger than the judicial system, which must be procedural. The judicial system is different compared with the system of justice because in general the justice is a value. The judicial is an attribute that qualify one of the function as a state used through the power. Different things exist to make different for sure. And the loss of integrity affects the premises and creates, the instability, which sometimes is sourced at the intention. If you have the cognitive gap not only in your financial system as micro corporate finances, as debit and credit in your personal accountability company, or in the supply and demand as microeconomy, or investment saving curve and liquidity money curve as conjuncture. The gap is something that has no integrity when was supposed to have this. It's not one internal argument with integrity having the density as 1 has a failure -1 equally qualified as 0 with the argument confirming the criminal purpose. The difference is expose the criminal purpose inside the gap that exists. Observe it equally at the Republican and Democrat, at the political system in USA. The difference between both, when do not exist, affects both by the same pattern observed at the accountability, economy and finances. Cross-cut, having areas with failure as lack of integrity. Indeed, those areas are here. I can forget this area and work only this situation here. We did this, of course, because we didn't have the dismiss list on corporate and public departments related by the lack of integrity or will complained by Mr. Drago Coles on OECD at least 6 years ago until this time. Equally, the relation by groups interacting in a transcontinental level complained by Mr. Jürgen Stock on Interpol in the same period until this time happened here. The interconnection inside two failure areas by the internal failure purpose having the hiring process on it, which points to the domain. The domain of circumstance inside your corporate environment as debt and credit, supply and demand as microeconomy, or investment saving liquid as macroeconomy, forming all the conjuncture failure by trend as gap, criminal conjuncture. Corporate finances are equal microeconomy and macroeconomy as conjuncture failure by lack of integrity or capacity or will. The moment only will be very clear about the criminal intention when you expose the failure, drill down the groups, and get the criminals by values. As you could observe, that goes the area failure with criminal purpose until run the game as criminal purpose as itself. We are leaving this and proving this by real-time follow-up at the International Criminal Court. Considering the independent oversight mechanism, the dismiss list allowed to get this by the drill down. We had this as phase 3 show business, having how groups got attracted in general by hedonism, by prostitution, by drug use, and go to the underground. We set an interval here as the Federal Bureau of Investigation to cross the limits of the law with some big stars or whatever. Can be a witness program, protection program, but the variable must run in the limits of protection. If go beyond, things gone by their own risks beyond the circles of protections. If the variable would like to walk all this area, it's not covered by the department or the task force doing the witness protection. They must protect themselves, even as a profession that live doing this. And we got this model, the curves, as we explained it before. Today, we aren't gonna have all this explained one more time. We are using the COBOL-oriented program by failure, cognitive optimizations. Some of the, crimes perpetrated by our criminal system, that as institutional failure always goes inside the institutions, against person, against credit or effort, which implies the self-determination of a person, or the interest on it, which implies the interest at self-determination, even to present things against the organized crime inside the institution, and or make your procedural decision or make a decision much easier at the International Criminal Court. Against person, the violation of private property, personality, and in general departments, using abusive procedure, which is a crime in Brazil, and always have the signature of a judge, to stalk and tease and harass. If goes at even your private space, we will steal data. And if you put a music, we will steal the music. Because you must protect your effort, and you can use the communication as a regular citizen. And the law 9472 article, I think, that is the law about communication. 3 item 3 says about the discrimination, item 12 the compensation, item 4 the right to complain, and it's enabled as have this complaint if the offender will receive the object complained, because you have kind of the surveillance of this criminal activity, and this go in all areas. The criminal offender doing the crime, receiving the complaint or the abuses, they will optimize the crimes perpetrated until have the systemic crime as the continued. But always goes by going by chair. The dismiss list not presented is the interest since the institution until the chairs guiding those institutions. It's segmented and individualized for punishment. At this court, declaration guiltiness of all penalty against the heads, and the International Criminal Court having a capital punishment as an option. And there was interest. Now, we observe how the clandestine or parallel investment system goes, and it did exist, or we wouldn't have to face so much problems. Here is your conjuncture. And you could observe that sometimes you have logical gaps on it, even as a guarantee on Article 5, clause, guarantee number 33 in Brazil, considering global events at least since 1992, equal 1992, Pan American Games 2007, Olympics 16, FIFA 14, COVID-19 and others. The division here will be as the public investment system, the corporate investment system. Here I have the public services. Here I have my investment saving curve and my liquidity money curve. Or could be my liquidity money curve, my investment saving curve. Right? Right. The same way we will observe here our public service. But we had failures inside by the logical gap, which we'll use now offshore business as items and services at the liquidity money curve, considering the center as investment, corporate, or abusive procedure by criminal intent or department, considering the public investment system. The center of economic interest as public or corporate affected by the value -1 can be both or only one affected your conjuncture that has the loss of integrity, and can be something like this or something really huge as the entire conjuncture by the influence of those criminal circles. And this money diverted from your treasury as conjuncture, using the investment center, public as decision or corporate, will be stored in some area that is equivalent at this with other players on it, or having the holding money as after have the diverted activity, to do the insertion in general using the gap in the public investment, in the offshore as business, or the public service as need for investment. This will go as a wealth cycle based on clandestine storage of illicit results. It's a criminal investment system taking the integrity little by little of your economy, micro or macro or corporate finance on public area and decision as investment equally at the corporate area, by something that is choking you. Is this engineer considered a trust? And if you has no different by all suppressed, did we had cultural destruction, international criminal court, and independent oversight mechanism less than 8 hours to our criminal offender present their reasons? They won't gonna do, because they will present criminal reasons at person in front of the judicial power. I bet they don't. Have a nice week. We are expecting the conviction of all, the punishment of the heads, not only at this court, but at this court considering the encouragement to do the capital punishment, which implies the death even of one, or having all in a neutral area as jurisdiction by threats against mankind in the future as next generations, above at least 3, 1 bonded, with the most dangerous criminal at this pandemic crime as mobilization. Ideas has consequence. It's the speech of Mr. Mike Pence, the candidate of the Republicans in United States of America.